Madhu, really, what defines you as an Indian? Is it your language, your caste, your gender, ethnicity? What is it?
See, Indian is anybody who has an Aadhaar card, a passport, a ration card, identity card, voter card, even if fraudulently acquired. So, Indian identity in that sense is a political identity. I see myself as a daughter of Bharatvarsh. And when I say Bharatvarsh, because India as we inherited it in 1947 from the British is a much castrated, wounded, broken down, cut up small geopolitical territory from a very vast civilizational zone that spread from Indonesia to Iran. And I say it was not a nation state in the sense in which we know, so I'm not trying to say from there to there we were one nation, no, but we were one civilization. And that civilization, even as far back as in Rig Veda, it defines itself geographically. Himalayas in the north, south you have the Indian Ocean, east such mountain, etc. And lists countless jatis, clans, people, linguistic groups, even at that time, acknowledged that this civilization, no matter how many different rulers and kingdoms existed, that all these people were part of this Bharatiya civilizations. Now that civilization in a cut up, wounded, castrated form is handed over to us in 1947 with very crude borders. Borders that don't make sense. If you go, for example, to the east, you go to the borders of India with Bangladesh, a family has front yard in India, backyard is supposed to be Bangladesh. You've divided, whoever sat in Delhi, Mountbatten and whoever else sat in Delhi, drew these lines, nonsensical. They don't make sense. How do you draw a line middle of the river and say, here Bangladesh and this side is India or Pakistan? It doesn't make sense. So actually we have done injustice to not understand that this nation state and its problems are of one kind. Its identity papers and securing them, sir, I don't think any Indian needs to worry with the Citizen Amendment Bill. I don't think any one of us is going to be deprived of our citizenship. All that the Citizenship Amendment Act says is those groups, those religious minorities, Hindus, Buddhists, Christians, Sikhs who are being persecuted in neighboring countries,
only three neighboring countries.
Sorry?
Only three neighboring countries. Not us.
I believe people of Indian origin, no matter where they are persecuted, and they've been, for example, made to flee from some African countries also. They may be tomorrow, like Fiji, we have Indian origin.
But the CA doesn't
say I'm saying because these neighboring countries, these populations of Sikhs, Bauds and Hindus and Christians are facing ethnic cleansing. In that sense, many of them have already run away because their daughters were being abducted every day. There was forcible conversions, they were being butchered, their houses were being looted. If we say, yes, they have a right to come back because nobody else will give them shelter, I don't see why we should feel so insecure because none of us are going to be disinherited of our passports and identity papers. But I root myself in that civilization and the values of that civilization which is badly wounded. And we need to reclaim it, we need to link ourselves to that past in order to understand why we are in the mess we are, because it's history which teaches you why you've inherited certain problems, and your analysis ought not to be, your understanding and your links with your history ought not to be through politicians of any hue. It needs to be a genuine linkage based on good scholarship as well as oral history of your people. What do people in this country remember of their history? What happened to them? What they've become today? Why we such a... See, when we were Bharatvarsh, we didn't have ethnic wars. Then when we became Hindustan, we had Hindu-Muslim because the offer was conversion or death. So Hindu-Muslim issue came. When the British came and made us into India, every group they pitched against every other. So they started caste census, they invented this Aryan invasion theory. They divided us ruthlessly, and our politicians sadly today continue working on those lines. And I think it's time we woke up and say we better find newer ways to peacefully coexist. And the irritants that we have created by politicians, we need to counter them without resorting to these polarized debates and fear-mongering.